Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. If you didn't know, I'm a diagnosed narcissist, but with that being said, keep in mind that I am not a licensed professional. So, with that out of the way, I wanted to talk about fucking disappointment. If you've seen enough videos on this channel, it's not a shocker that I'm miserable as fuck. I'm annoyed as fuck. I think the world is stupid. I think everything is just stupid and idiotic and just, well, there's nothing specific when it comes to disappointment that I want to talk about. I just wanted to talk about disappointment in general. And from the way I see it, if everybody were as honest and realistic as I was, they would just, constantly be disappointed as well. Well, honestly, I don't know if the things the things I'm gonna say in this video are actually not good for my healing, my fucking, I don't know, improvement journey or whatever the fuck, because I get that's what you're supposed to do in acknowledgement of mental illnesses. Try to get better, obviously. But you know what? I started thinking about where my disappointment often comes from. And, I talk a lot on here about how my lack of self and my sense of no identity whatsoever is obviously a very prominent thing in my psychology. Well, it just would be if you suffer from some kind of cluster B disorder. And I was thinking about how people are just so ignorantly happy on a daily basis, and they just don't know what terrible conditions that were actually placed in. I mean, I am jealous at times of people that have whole object relations, but then again, I'm not. But maybe that's just my cope, and I tell myself that everybody is a fucking idiot, and only I see the truth in this way. But I mean, I know I'm the one with the mental illness. I know I'm the one going through a problem, quote unquote. So I mean, I know I say I talk for myself, but if a lot of narcissists happen to agree with this, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I think a lot of us are constantly disappointed because we constantly live only through our expectations. And I guess it just is that way because if you're somebody that, lacks a clear sense of self, expectations are essentially all you have. I mean, everybody has expectations, right? Even people with non-cluster B disorders. Everybody wants things to be a certain way, but then again, you know what? They don't. Well, this is what I've noticed. A lot of regular people, let's just say non-cluster B people, are so good at gaslighting themselves. Like they'll say things like, "Oh, sometimes things don't always work out the way you want." And I'm just like, "Actually, no, nothing ever actually works the way we want because all of this is just cope. All of this is just distraction from the inevitable end. So I have no idea how people form attachments to anything, how they form attachments to life, how they form attachments to themselves, because all of this is just so fucking, hollow. All of this is just lies plastered on top of lies. And I guess if you have the delusion of sitting within yourself in comfort, and then you're just like, oh yeah, I can appreciate the earth. I can appreciate my life and blah blah blah. But I don't know. I think if you're just like a narcissist or just like a cluster B sort of person, you just understand that nothing is actually real. And everybody's just existing in some form of a narrative, and nothing is fucking real in the slightest. So you just acknowledge realistically that you're just gonna fucking run out. And again, everybody knows that we're gonna die someday. But it's people are so good from what I've noticed, healthy people, or it seems like people with non-cluster B disorders, they're so good at gaslighting themselves. Like they're genuinely people are genuinely so good at doing this cognitive dissonance that they live their life as if they're not gonna die. And I think this is probably the reason why grief hits a lot of people. I mean, you can say I'm all talk, but like, I don't know. If somebody I know were to die, I don't know if I would actually be sad about it, to be honest. Because like I think to myself, like, oh yeah, I saw that coming. Well, we all know we're gonna die, right? So like when it comes to death, we all know we're gonna see it coming, like whether it's for ourselves or like other people. Like it's just the cycle of life, obviously. But it's like, what is the point in being sad, to be honest, if like hypothetically somebody dies? Like, yeah, okay, you're gonna miss them, like those memories that you have of them are suddenly gonna like resurface, but it's like you knew the entire time. And people will say things, for example, like, oh, cherish the moment because like it can be gone in an instant. Like, be grateful or like whatever. But then why? Because like it's as if it never should have even happened in the first place, if you ask me honestly. Like, if we all know this is like naturally reaching its domino end to whatever stupid random cope that we're gonna do up until the point where like we're gonna die. So it's like, how do we hold attachments to anything? Like, I always say this, or like when people are like, okay, then like, why are you alive? I'm just like, it's pure survival instinct. Or it's like, I'm alive because I realize just how stupid it actually is to be alive. Well, not being alive itself, but I guess like the process. I acknowledge that I have to be so stupid, and that's why I like hate myself. Or I see other people, and if they're hypothetically genuinely happy, I'm just like, why don't you hate yourself? Like, to be a living, conscious, like aware, like type of being is to literally be the stupidest thing in existence. Like, you see animals and they survive, like, say like lower formed animals on like the evolutionary tree. Like, they just do it on like pure instinct, right? Like, oh, they look for food, they look for shelter. I mean, no different than us, to be honest. Obviously, yeah, we look for food, we look for shelter and stuff like that. But we're the ones that discuss shit like psychology, philosophy, I don't fucking know, religion or whatever. Like we're the only dumbasses that talk about why we should believe the things that we believe when it doesn't even matter. Like, animals, like lower form animals in a way, like are already at a zen where they don't have to think about anything and they just do what their instinct says. And we do what our instinct says. Like, yeah, like it's the self-preservation, right? But then, oh, we argue politics. That's the other thing I forgot to mention, I guess. Or we argue even more shallow things that we wouldn't consider as like important in the world. Because like I guess like a lot of those things can be shaped into the core values that people hold, whatever philosophical, psychological, political stance that they take. But we even still argue stupid shit like, I don't know, movies or this or that. And we understand that, for example, that's like, oh, that's just more like opinion based. But then everything is actually opinion based in a way, but then it's not. I don't, and then we can get into like another whole discussion about like epistemology, right? Well, when I think about it, like being like this conscious, like reaching this point in evolution for the human species is like the worst thing that ever could have happened. Like, like okay, because like this is what I understand about like the evolution of like all these like creatures on Earth to reach the point where we as human beings are. We've evolved to reach the point of existential crisis, essentially. So now we have to cope. I feel like as a human, if we're truly the only ones that are aware, and like a lot of animals are just like stupid, yeah, they're intelligent animals, right? But obviously, we as like humans, we're so fucking stuck up and arrogant. We want to consider ourselves as the ones that are like on top. And as far as we know, only we can talk about like abstract shit, right? Well, I mean, like abstract shit might as well all just be made up. This life is just made up. And like again, like okay, yeah, we've evolved to have the capacity to go through an existential crisis. I don't know if other animals have like an existential crisis. Well, okay, I saw this TikTok about a dog who has like a higher sense of awareness than other dogs, and the dog like pushes on these buttons that give like some sort of like command or whatever for like the owner, and I think it was something like it kept looking at itself in the mirror, and suddenly I guess like they proved that this dog had like depression, and I'm like, that's fucked, bro. Because like the other animals, you should have been fortunate enough to never know what it's like to deal with a fucking like existential crisis. I mean, everyone always talks about like being human as like something like, oh, reaching the potential because everybody has a will, or like some sort of like, I don't know, expression that's supposed to be important. Like, no, it's not. Like everybody's always talking about like faith, right? That's why religious people are always telling you, oh yeah, latch on to like faith or something, or maybe even non-religious people, because like again, so many people, the way I see it, are just like so fucking ignorant. Like they have expectations, but in actuality, I don't think they actually care about those expectations, because if they actually did care about those expectations, I think like a narcissist, or maybe just any cluster B person in general, they would be just as miserable as we are. Because again, regular people, they still gaslight themselves to be like, oh yeah, well, I tried, but like whatever. But I mean, like, I feel like as a narcissist or as a cluster B person, you already see what a lie it is to begin with. So this world just exists in this like contradictory fashion, because they're like, okay, have expectations, but they still have to be realistic, quote unquote, like in a way. But then it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense, because the realm of expectations are nothing but unrealistic things. And yeah, I'm gonna come after religious people again, because like I just don't understand it. But it's like they want to act like they're grounded, but they still want to hold on to like faith or like whatever, or something like that, because oh, they need something higher. Why do you need something higher? That's just cope. Like to think that like, oh, there's supposed to be something that's gonna like, like save you or like whatever. But I mean, like, if we were to just truly accept that we live and we die, then why do we need faith? Why can't we live like an animal, arguably? But oh, that's beneath us. But I mean, like, these specific human problems are like, again, these specific human problems. As far as I know, only we are dealing with like these kind of like specific psychological frustrations, philosophical frustrations, or like whatever. Like animals, they truly just respond to, oh, we're gonna fight, oh, we're not fighting, or like whatever. Like there's no debate. It's just like to the point. And we as humans, we still fight each other. We still get physical. We still get like aggressive and stuff like that. I don't have to tell you that. Obviously, you know things about like crimes or whatever, I imagine. But it's like it's this like NPC living that I don't understand. I just yeah like I just don't understand it at all, because humans always want to act like there's a world, some kind of like like thing beyond whatever it is that we're doing right now. But then this is all that we're affected by, or like we're the only ones capable of like entertaining like dumb shit like a brain in a vat, like a lower animal never has to care about that. Like this could all be an illusion, or like some sort of like simulation. Yeah, that's not a new deep thought. I'm sure you've heard that before, but it's like genuinely, or like I still do think about it, where it's like, okay, if I existed as a brain in a vat, I would never be able to see beyond this illusion or not. But yet, because this illusion, let's just say if it is all that I have, I'm still expected to take it seriously. And everything just keeps contradicting itself. Like, there's no truth to anything. And then some like delusional fucking idiot that has faith is gonna be like, oh, well, that skepticism is self-defeating. Because if you're saying you don't know anything, you don't know that you don't know anything. And I'm like, yeah, well, no shit. Again, that's the point. I'm saying that there is no point. Yeah, that was my point. So, you're stupid and you're wrong, or I'm still stupid and I'm wrong. But I mean, like, okay, why would they say the truth hurts then? Why would they say the truth hurts then? Like humans are truly like I think honestly the the true dilemma of a human being is like pivoting back and forth between ignorance is bliss, or oh yeah, the truth hurts and we're supposed to just be like miserable. But I think like as a narcissist or as a cluster B person, yeah, you don't have like whole object relations to anything. So you see the fakeness for like what it truly is. So I can't latch on to anything, the world, myself. It's just, yeah, this just happens, but then like, so what? Like, yeah, it's just disappointment. It's just failure everywhere. It's just failure everywhere, masking and giving us an illusion like we can improve it in any way whatsoever. Well, we're not. We're just gonna die. But then, yeah, okay, I get it. So what? So what? When I'm dead, I'm not gonna complain anymore. I'm not even gonna feel happy anymore. I'm like I'm nothing unless you claim like, oh yeah, there's something after this. But I'm like, it's just no. That's just cope. Okay, and this is what I think. As long as we exist in some form, we will always just lie. As long as we exist in some form, whatever we're experiencing, we will never truly know if it's real or not. Even if in any moment we think that it might actually be real, because kind of like what I said, if this is a brain in a vat situation, I could consider that this is fake, but just because of that, this illusion is the only thing I have. So I'm still living in its parameters in some way or another, whether or not I can rationalize it to myself or not. Like whatever it is, it's just something happening, even though it was never anything happening, because this is just, yeah, kind of like what you would get from that, an illusion. So basically, this existence sucks. This existence is stupid. Everything is stupid. Everything is ridiculous. And yeah, that's the only thing. Those are the only things I wanted to share.